Have you ever woken up with that familiar stiffness in your hands? The kind that makes even turning a doorknob feel like a task? Or maybe you've noticed your knees don't move quite the way they used to, like they're carrying years of quiet pain inside them. It's not just aging, it's not just getting older. For many seniors, it's arthritis, quietly stealing comfort from your daily life, one movement at a time. But here's something most people never tell you. The solution to some of that discomfort might already be sitting in your kitchen. Yes, really. While medications and creams have their place, there's a quieter, more natural path to relief that doesn't get enough attention. And it begins with what you eat, not pills, not injections, but food, specifically certain plant-based proteins that have been shown to help reduce inflammation and ease the aching grip of arthritis. In this video, we're going to walk through 3 powerful plant-based proteins that could change the way your joints feel day to day. These aren't trendy superfoods that cost a fortune or require fancy recipes. These are humble, everyday foods, easy to find, simple to cook, and surprisingly effective at fighting the very inflammation that causes pain. And if you know someone in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s, maybe a spouse, a sibling, or an old friend who's quietly battling that same discomfort, share this video with them. Sometimes a simple tip can change everything, especially when it comes from someone who understands what pain truly feels like. So let's begin with something small, brown, and often overlooked in grocery aisles. Lentils. You've probably seen them in bags, maybe even passed them by thinking they're too plain, too simple. But within those tiny legumes lies a kind of natural power that arthritis doesn't like. Lentils aren't just a good source of protein, they're a source of relief. They carry something your joints quietly crave: magnesium. This mineral may not sound glamorous, but in the body, it works like a gentle switch, calming inflammation, easing the tightness, and helping your joints breathe just a little easier. And it doesn't stop there. Lentils are filled with fiber, and that's not just good for digestion, it's good for your joints too. You see, when your blood sugar spikes, your body gets inflamed. And inflammation is the very thing that makes arthritis worse. Lentils help level that out. They help your body stay balanced, steady, and calm on the inside, like a warm hand resting gently on your shoulder. If you've never tried them, start simple. A bowl of lentil soup on a rainy day, a handful tossed into your salad, cooked with a bit of garlic and a drizzle of olive oil. You don't need to become a health guru. You just need to eat what your body has been quietly asking for all along. And if you're still here with me, thank you. That says a lot. It means you're not just listening. You're curious. You're hopeful. You want to feel better, not just exist, but move through your day with less resistance. That's powerful. That's brave. So let's keep going. There's another protein you may already know, but might not fully appreciate: chickpeas. Yes, the humble chickpea used in hummus, stews, and roasted snacks. But chickpeas are more than a culinary ingredient. They're packed with something called polyphenols. You don't need to remember the word. Just know this: polyphenols are nature's way of fighting inflammation. They act like tiny warriors inside your body, calming the flare-ups, softening the swelling, and protecting your joints from deeper damage. And then there's something even more surprising. Chickpeas are a quiet source of vitamin C, not the flashy kind you get from oranges, but enough to help your body build collagen. That's the stuff your cartilage is made from. And when your cartilage wears down, bones rub together, pain follows. But when you feed your body what it needs to build and protect that soft layer, you're not just reacting to arthritis, you're fighting it back. One of the most comforting meals I ever shared was a simple chickpea stew. My friend Nora, 74, swears by it. She adds a bit of turmeric, some fresh parsley, and says it helps her sleep through the night without waking from knee pain. It's not a miracle. It's not magic. It's nutrition meeting consistency. That's what your body wants. Not perfection, just kindness, again and again. And if you've made it this far, let me say something. This isn't just a video. It's a quiet reminder that healing is possible, not all at once, but slowly, steadily, like morning light creeping through your window. If there's someone you love who's also struggling, share this with them. Sometimes the greatest gift isn't advice, it's hope. And now we come to something a little softer, a little gentler, but no less powerful. Tofu. You might have heard of it, maybe even tasted it once or twice, and thought it was too bland, too plain. But what if I told you that this quiet block of soy holds something truly remarkable for aging joints? Tofu isn't flashy, it doesn't shout for attention on your plate, but inside it carries something most seniors need more of: complete protein, calcium, and a touch of anti-inflammatory magic. You see, tofu is made from soybeans, and soybeans are what nutritionists call a complete protein. That means it has all the essential amino acids your body needs to repair itself. And at this age, repair is everything. Repairing the wear and tear from decades of walking, lifting, bending, climbing stairs, standing for too long, sitting for too long. Our bodies remember all of it, but beyond protein, there's something even more special about tofu. It contains natural compounds called isoflavones. These work in the body in a way that's similar to estrogen, providing support where the body has lost some of its own. For people with arthritis, these isoflavones act as gentle guards, helping to calm inflammation and reduce the swelling that makes joints stiff and painful. It's not dramatic, but that's the beauty of it. Day by day, meal by meal, it helps your body restore balance. And let's not forget calcium. So many seniors are told to drink milk, to eat cheese to keep their bones strong, but dairy can sometimes cause more inflammation for those with arthritis. Tofu offers a different path, a quieter one, a path that still strengthens your bones, protects your joints, and doesn't stir up the discomfort that can follow a glass of milk. It's plant-based, gentle, and surprisingly versatile. If you've never cooked with tofu, don't let that stop you. It's easier than you think. A few slices pan-fried with olive oil, garlic, and a sprinkle of turmeric. That's joint therapy in a skillet. Or maybe a soft tofu blended into a smoothie with some berries and oats. Protein for the morning, inflammation fighting for the day ahead. You can grill it, bake it, crumble it into stir-fry. It's the kind of food that takes on the flavors around it, like a supportive friend that lifts you up without trying to take the spotlight. And if you're still watching, thank you for giving yourself this time. Most people scroll past. They click out. They say, "I'll watch it later," and never do. But not you. You stayed. You listened. That tells me something important. You're not giving up. And that's the very first step in any healing process. Deciding that you still care about how you feel, that you still want to move with ease, that you're not done living with comfort. So what happens now? Now you take one idea from today, just one. Maybe it's lentils, maybe it's chickpeas, maybe it's tofu. You add it to your next meal, nothing dramatic, no big overhaul, just a quiet shift. And maybe tomorrow you do it again. And before you know it, your body starts responding. The swelling goes down a little. The stiffness isn't so sharp in the morning. The steps feel less heavy. That's the beauty of small, steady change. It whispers before it sings. And maybe, just maybe, you tell someone else. You call your sister. You send this to your neighbor. You share it with your son who's been worried about your knees. Because when we talk about healing, we're not just talking about food. We're talking about connection, about not suffering in silence, about reminding each other that there is always something we can do, no matter our age. So if this video gave you even one idea, one small sense of hope, please share it. Share it like you would share a good recipe or a favorite memory. Someone out there is waiting to hear what you now know. And if you've made it all the way here, I want you to take one more thing with you. Your body is not broken, it's trying. Every single day it's doing its best to keep you moving, to keep you steady, to keep you here. And when you choose to nourish it with kindness, with intention, with the right foods, you're not just feeding your joints. You're feeding your strength, your independence, your future. But before we end, let me tell you a story that stayed with me ever since I heard it. There was a gentleman named Harold. He was 81 when we first met, a retired postman, quiet and thoughtful, with hands that had delivered more letters than most of us will ever write in a lifetime. But now those same hands trembled in the morning. His fingers ached when he tried to button a shirt or hold a cup of tea. The cold months were the worst. The pain would creep into his wrists and settle there like an uninvited guest that refused to leave. He didn't want to rely on pills, not after seeing how his wife had become dependent on them before she passed. He was looking for something gentler, something that didn't make him feel like he was just masking the pain. That's when he started making small changes, almost unnoticeable at first. He swapped his morning toast for a warm lentil porridge. He added chickpeas to his soup. He grilled tofu with a little olive oil and rosemary. 3 months later, Harold didn't claim to be cured. He wasn't chasing miracles, but he could hold his pen again. He could write postcards to his grandchildren without having to stop halfway. He said the stiffness wasn't gone, but it was like the volume had been turned down. That's all he wanted, for the noise of the pain to be quiet enough so he could hear his life again. And maybe that's all most of us are really asking for. Not perfection, not youth, but comfort. A sense that our bodies are still on our side. A belief that we can still help ourselves, even if it's just with what we put on our plate. You see, there's something beautiful that happens when food becomes more than just food. When a spoonful of lentils means less swelling in your fingers. When a handful of roasted chickpeas becomes the reason your knees don't throb after a walk. When a slice of tofu, seasoned and warm, becomes a way to say to your body, I'm still with you, I still care. This is about arthritis, yes, but it's also about agency, about choosing to act, even in small ways, especially in small ways. Because the truth is, our bodies are always listening. They're waiting to respond. They've never stopped trying. And when we respond back with intention, with nourishment, with care, that's where the healing begins. And maybe this video reaches someone today who's sitting quietly at their kitchen table, wondering if it's too late to feel better. Let me say this clearly and simply, it is never too late. Not to feel a little stronger, not to feel a little freer, not to give your body the support it's been silently asking for. If any part of this has resonated with you, please, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might be feeling the same stiffness in their fingers, the same weight in their knees, with someone who needs to be reminded that nature still holds answers for us, even now. And if you decide to try even one of these foods this week, I hope you notice something, not just in your joints, but in your mood, your breath, your sleep. Because healing from arthritis isn't just physical, it's emotional too. It's about reclaiming a sense of peace in your body, of knowing you can still walk to the garden, still grip a pen, still reach for the jar on the top shelf. You deserve that. Not someday, today. So as we close this conversation, let it linger a while. Let it travel with you into your kitchen, into your grocery list, into that next quiet moment when you're deciding what to eat. Let it remind you that the power to feel better is often much closer than we think. Not in prescriptions, but in presence. Not in punishment, but in nourishment. You don't need perfect joints to live a good life. You just need a body that feels heard, loved, and cared for, one meal at a time. Until then, stay kind to yourself. And if this helped you, I hope you pass it on, because the wisdom we share today becomes the strength someone else leans on tomorrow. Sometimes the most powerful changes don't come from dramatic transformations. They come from small, quiet choices made with care. A different item in your grocery basket. A moment in the kitchen where you choose nourishment over habit. A single meal that says, I still want to feel better. And in that way, food becomes more than survival. It becomes a kind of love language. A way to speak kindly to a body that's been through decades of movement, work, service, sacrifice. You begin to see food not as fuel, but as medicine. Not in the clinical sense, but in the emotional one. Medicine that comforts, that restores, that reminds you of what's still possible. There's a wisdom that comes with aging, a knowing that youth never holds. You begin to recognize what matters. You begin to let go of things that once felt urgent and lean into what feels nourishing. And in those quiet shifts, healing finds its way in. Even if your joints still ache, even if the mornings are still slow, there's a peace that comes when you know you're doing what you can. When you're showing up for your body, not with frustration, but with gentleness. And maybe one day soon, you'll sit down to a simple lunch, some lentils perhaps with a little lemon and spinach, or chickpeas in a warm stew, maybe a slice of tofu on toast with avocado, and you'll notice something. Not a miracle, not a cure, but a softness, less swelling, A little more ease as you stand up. A little more confidence as you reach for something high. A little more freedom in the way you move through your day. And you'll remember this video, maybe just for a moment, and smile. That's the goal. Not to promise magic, but to remind you that change is possible. That aging doesn't have to mean surrendering comfort. That arthritis doesn't get to write your whole story. You still get to turn the page. So before we end, I want to invite you to do something simple. If this spoke to you, if it helped you feel seen or inspired or hopeful, share it. Share it with a friend who might be quietly hurting. Share it with a family member who thinks it's just normal aging. Share it with someone who's forgotten what feeling good even looks like. Let's bring back that sense of power, of agency, of possibility. And if you feel like it, leave a comment below. Tell us what you've tried. Tell us what's worked. Or just say hi. Because this space isn't just about information, it's about community. A place where seniors can learn from each other, encourage each other, and walk this journey together. You deserve to feel well, not perfect, not pain-free every second, but well, stronger than yesterday, supported by choices you make with love, guided by wisdom that only time can give. And when you find something that works, whether it's lentils or tofu, or simply the belief that you still matter, hold on to it. Let it root. Let it grow. Let it carry you into the next chapter with a little less pain and a little more peace. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.